Hey guys, welcome back to Vlogmas Day 12. I'm Shelby, my channel is called Mama Dubay, and I am a stay-at-home mom with two kids. I have a almost 3-year-old and a 5-month-old baby. And I was thinking recently about all the things that would have been so helpful to know when I had my first baby. Recently having that second baby, going through all of those newborn things again, I realized all of the things that I knew as a second-time mom that I didn't know the first time around. So I wanted to share those with you because these are very helpful and will really help you understand your baby a lot better. So let's go ahead and get into today's video. Are new here and you're into motherhood content, if you have a new baby or just want to relate with another mom, this is the right place for you. So hit that subscribe button down below. I'm trying to grow my channel right now, so if you are new, please make sure that you hit that subscribe button. And if you enjoyed today's content, don't forget to give it a thumbs up before you leave today. So before we get into the 10 things that I have for you, I just want to remind you that obviously, babies are changing. They're ever changing. They're constantly developing. Their brain is growing. Every moment with your baby is really a phase, and it is fleeting, and it's going to go by really quickly. And you're going to be like, wow, I just solved this problem and now I have a new one. Or this was a problem and now it's not a problem at all. So that is just something that you need to be aware of because it is just going to go by. Things are going to change quickly. So get ready. So the very first thing that helped me to learn about when I had my first baby was that babies go through these things called leaps. Leaps are when your baby learns something new and they're physically trying to practice that, or in their brain is changing and they're learning and thinking about something new. There is an app called the Wonder Weeks app, and it explains those to you. So right now, Charlie is not going through a leap according to this. She does start leap 5 in 9 days though. And let me just give you an example of what leap 5 is. Okay, so leap 5 is all about relationships, meaning that she will be able to perceive relationships between objects and people, inside, on top of, underneath, between, next to. How things go into something, out of something, that kind of thing. So it's like a spatial relationship thing that they are learning. So because she is going through this leap, it means that she might have trouble sleeping. She might be a little bit more fussy. She might want to nurse more. Just little things might bother her more than before. And they go through these leaps for about a week or so, and then they go back to their normal, happy selves, depending on your temperament, your baby's temperament. So leaps are very helpful to learn about and will explain some of the fussiness. And also, let me just add, and the app will explain that to you as well, is that some babies enter leaps a little bit earlier than others, or they might enter it a little bit later than others. So if you have a new baby, I really recommend looking up leaps. Maybe download the app so that you can have that handy when you're like not able to figure out what's going on with your baby. Number 2 is that your baby has wake windows, and you can go on Google and pull up a chart if you want to. I'll include one right here that I just found on Google, but basically there are different stages that your baby will fall into different wake windows. I know as a newborn, your baby's wake window is about 45 minutes, 0 to 4 weeks. They're only going to stay awake for about 45 minutes to feed, play for a couple minutes, and then get changed and go back to sleep. So if you pay attention to these wake windows, you're able to get your baby down when they're sleepy enough to take a good nap. I highly recommend looking into these because it will really help you with your sanity and knowing what to expect and when that baby is going to need to nap. Right now, Charlie's wake window is around 2 hours. I know that after about 2 hours, she's usually ready for a nap. I can stretch it, like this says, up to 2.5 hours. I think that's why she was having trouble sleeping. This is the second time I have tried to film this video because I put her down for her nap a little bit late. It was closer to 3 hours that she had been awake, so I had prolonged her wake window a little too long, and so I put her down and she was up in 5 minutes. and took forever to get back to sleep. So she's asleep now, but I won't make that mistake again today. I will have her down in her wake window so that she takes a good nap and doesn't struggle to get to sleep. Okay, number 3 is for you breastfeeding mamas. This is just something that I think you need to know in case you don't. Breastfeeding is all about supply and demand. Now, that's not true for the first 3 months. The first 3 months, once you get your milk in, it's almost like you always have a surplus. And that's just because your body's just producing that milk. And after that, your body will only make as much milk as your body believes your baby needs. That's why if you're pumping on top of exclusively nursing, you'll end up with a surplus. You'll have too much milk and you'll always have a little bit extra or a lot extra if you're not careful. But it's all about supply and demand. So if you're ever feeling like you don't have enough milk for your baby, you really just need to latch that baby more, pump a little bit more, make sure you're drinking lots and lots of fluid to get it up a little bit more, but your baby is going to be able to get what they need. You just have to work through that so that you can teach your body that it needs to produce just a little bit more. I hope that makes sense. Research, go online, look up more about breastfeeding. I do plan on filming a video all about breastfeeding. It'll probably come out in January. Number 4 is that your baby is also going to go through sleep regressions. I'm gonna show you here what I'm looking at. It is from the site What to Expect. And there are certain times that your baby is expected to have sleep regressions. So the first one happens between 3 and 4 months. The next one around 6 months. After that, between 8 and 10 months. And then 12 months. 18 months, I believe, is the next one. And then 24 months. And then honestly, 2.5 years old. I should do a whole video on that one. But sleep regressions are something that your baby's going to go through, and it's just because of their development. They learn new things, and it really interferes with their sleep because they just want to practice those new things that they've learned. So Charlie went through her 4-month sleep regression around 3.5 months, but it's just like knowing that it's a sleep regression that's causing your baby to have trouble sleeping. It really helps you to work through it. So look up sleep regressions. That way you know exactly what to expect. Okay, number 5, have you ever heard of colic? If your baby is colicky, I am really sorry because that is hard to deal with. My first one was very colicky. But I want you to know that colic is just a symptom of something else. I know that they have like a criteria to diagnose your baby with colic, but colic is just your baby being really, really fussy because something else is bugging them. And if you can figure out what that thing is, it will really help your baby. My 3-year-old was a very colicky baby, and it turned out that he had what's called silent reflux. He wasn't spitting up a lot, but he had major indigestion, and he was so fussy until we got him on some reflux medicine. Now, I'm not a completely holistic mama. Like I would be if I really just had all the resources and could be, but I am a little bit of a crunchy mama, I guess is what you might call me. And I didn't want to put anything like that in his system. I wanted him to be just like natural boob baby, no medications. But once I realized how fussy he was, I decided to put him on some reflux medication, and he became a very sweet, calm baby. So if you can find out what's causing the colic, that will help you. Number 6 is that most babies are really going to have an upset tummy when they're first here. For the first 3 to 4 months, it's just their body is not used to having to digest food. So they have gas, they have really upset tummies, and my only advice is to get that baby on a probiotic. Talk to your pediatrician, see what they recommend, but I would put that baby on a probiotic just a few weeks after they are here. It really will help them. Both of my babies have been helped with probiotics. I know I was just talking about how Lucas was put on reflux medication, but I also started probiotics a couple weeks before that, and it really did help. It made a very noticeable difference for a couple of weeks. And then I still realized he was still really fussy, so we moved on to the reflux medication. But with Charlie, she was a very happy baby from the very beginning, and just a few weeks into her being here, she started getting really fussy. Probiotics really, really help them. And then also sitting up for a little bit after they eat, That's going to help them digest as well because they don't have the thing that closes their esophagus. And if you feed your baby and then lay the baby down right away, that milk is just going to come right back up. So that's just a little thing that I thought would help a new mom if they didn't know that. Number 7 is that your baby is going to be born not knowing the difference between daytime and nighttime. I need to sip my coffee for this. They have just been inside the womb where it's dark all the time. And yeah, they might hear noises at certain times of the day or whatever, but they're going to come out and not have a clue about the difference. So you're going to want to teach them that as soon as possible. And what I recommend is that during the day, you keep that baby for the first few weeks anyway. You keep that baby with you during the day. So when they're napping, they can sleep through noises when they're first born. So I would let them nap, around you, let them be where the sun is basically. But that way they start to learn that this is daytime. And then for bedtime, make sure that they are sleeping in a room that's very, very dark so that they adjust to the fact that at nighttime, it's really, really dark. And that's when they're supposed to be sleeping more. Also during the day, don't let your newborn baby take naps that are longer than 2 hours. I know they say not to wake a sleeping baby, but it really will help them to get that longer stretch of sleep at nighttime. Babies start to have a 5-hour stretch of sleep as a newborn. That will normally happen once in a 24-hour period. You want that to happen at night. So I recommend waking them up after 2, maybe 2.5 hours if you need to, but always wake them up, even if it's just for a feed and then putting them right back down. You don't want them to just have that long stretch of sleep during the day. You want it to happen at night. Number 9 is more of a practical thing, and it's also my opinion, and that is that you don't need all of the seats. You don't need all of the baby seats, like the swing. You don't need the bouncy seats. You don't need the sit upright chair. You don't need all of those things. Your baby is going to learn and develop and grow those gross motor skills the best when they're put on the floor. So I do recommend getting a quilt, a play mat, something along those lines, so that you can put them on the floor for their playtimes. Do I have swings and bouncy seats and things like that? Yes, I do have a few, but those were given to me and I probably would not have bought them myself. And I do use them. Like I said earlier about the digestion where the milk wants to come back up, I use the bouncy seat, which is like I use this little bouncy seat after she eats so that she's kind of sitting up a little bit. I need to put her down a lot of times right after she eats because I have a toddler. So I do have them, but my point is just that you don't have to have them. Okay, number 9 is probably more like mental health related, and that is that it's perfectly normal for you to feel like, oh my gosh, I need to get away from this baby. But it's also normal to feel like I need to get away from this baby, but I can't trust anybody else with this baby. I can't walk away. It's such a weird thing being a mom. Like you really need that break, but then you're also like, no one else is gonna do this right. Or no one else is gonna do this with love and care for my baby like I am. I'm just here to let you know that it's normal to feel that way. And then number 10 is also for your mental health. And that is, if you're anything like me, you really need to know that your goal when you go to the doctor with your baby and they give you that screening where you answer questions about postpartum depression, your goal is not to give all the right answers. You don't need to make a 100 A+ on this quiz. It's not a quiz for you. It's just a way for you to share how you're actually feeling. With my first baby, when I would get these, I am very cognitive and I know all the right answers. I know what I'm supposed to say. I know what I'm supposed to feel like. And that's what I said. However, in hindsight, I was absolutely dealing with postpartum depression. So if I could go back, I would answer those a little more honestly and maybe get the help that I probably needed then. So if you are having any postpartum depression thoughts or anything like that, please talk to somebody. There is help for you, and just vocalizing it sometimes is something that can help you. And that is also a very normal thing to go through. So I hope these 10 things were helpful to you. If you are a new mom and you've never had kids before, I feel like they're all really simple things, but I know, especially with like the leaps and the wake windows and knowing how breastfeeding works, that it's supply and demand, all of those things really would have helped me if I would have became a mom knowing them right away. So I really hope that you enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up if you did, and comment below and let me know if you learned anything new in this video, and if you want to share anything else with a first-time mom, if there's anything that I didn't talk about that first-time moms need to know that would have helped you when you first became a mother. And I will catch you guys in the next video for Vlogmas day number 13.